Hello guys, and welcome to Cartridge and Disc. That's right, this is the podcast where we talk about interesting things about the video game industry. Things that sometimes are off the beaten path. Like today we're going to talk about marketing. The marketing of video games. But not the marketing of video games today, the market of video games in the past. When we think about the great video games that we loved, how much was spent in advertising? In today's market, we don't think about that, right? Because everything's done online. There's direct marketing. Video game creators, producers, they have a direct access to the public that they didn't have in the past. In the past, they had to rely on legacy media. Now they don't do that so much because media, of course, has different agendas sometimes than the video game makers themselves. But what happened back in the day? How much money did they spend making these video games that we love? Today, we'll take a closer look. Now, let's go back in time to 1996. They say money is the mother's milk of all business, and it sure is. Let's go back to 1996. Let's take a look at Nintendo, and let's look at the ad campaign, the marketing that was done for the second half of the year. You're going to see some of your favorite games on here, and I think you might be surprised on how much money was actually spent to advertise these games. As I told you, we never think about this. When we think about the games of the past, it's more nostalgia. But it took money to make these games popular. It took money to get them out to the public. And hopefully this will give you a good snapshot of what was going on back then.
In 96. And in fact, the entire second half is going to be a real blast. TV sets across the country will soon be bursting with Nintendo excitement.
Nintendo has a great lineup of second half Super NES and Game Boy games backed by the power of the Play Loud advertising campaign.
Starting in early May and rolling right on into June, the action gets off to a running start with Super Mario RPG for Super NES. Mario's latest campaign is one very adventuresome $3.8 million media event. May through June will feature a very powerful TV buy for Kirby's Block Ball for Game Boy and Super Game Boy. This time out, Kirby scores a big $1.8 million in media. And beginning in June, Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run for Super NES will be smacking them right out of the park with a sizzling $3.3 million media home run blast. Plus, look for an additional $1.5 million Nike Impact promotion. In August-September, we spring Bound High and Dragon Hopper for Virtual Boy over the airwaves with a mind-blowing multi-dimensional $3.2 million TV experience. Also starting in August, the tiny little Game Boy Pocket gets a great big $6 million campaign. The first phase of this two-stage blitz covers the end of summer back-to-school months of August and September and picks up again just in time for Christmas with a whole new blitz beginning late November and lasting well into December. In September, Kirby's Superstar for Super NES really powers up with an invincible $3.2 million in media. The entire month of October goes to the playful little monkey with big friends in high places when Donkey Kong Land 2, Diddy's Conquest for Game Boy and Super Game Boy comes bouncing out of the barrel with a whopping $3.7 million TV buy. Never content to play second banana to anyone, November and December goes to the incredible Donkey Kong Country 3 for Super NES with an earth-shaking $4.8 million holiday media blitz. In addition to these outstanding television campaigns, you can also count on the power of print to play a major role throughout the entire second half. We've dedicated a record $1.5 million exclusively for advertising in all the hot gaming magazines. Of course, Nintendo's own presses will be cranking out the fun as well with the popular monthly Nintendo Power magazine.
Nintendo Power readers are like a secret sales force. That's why increasing readership through retail sales is so important.
Of course, gamers will also be plugging into our hot new virtual magazine, Nintendo Power Source, all year long.
Nintendo Power Source Online reaches opinion leaders to get the news out fast on hot new releases.
And as always, retail advertising is going to be another mighty, powerful force for fun throughout the second half.
Retail advertising is a hugely important part of our marketing plan. For the second half of this year, our existing RMP plan will provide the kinds of dollars you need to plan and execute some great ads and some greater promotions all the way up and through the end of the year.
In August, we introduce a very cool promotion to help introduce the very hot Tetris Attack for Super NES and Game Boy. This multimedia-backed event features local market events supported with radio advertising and an exciting nationwide rental offer with over 500,000 rentals projected, plus a thrilling Tetris Attack competition. You can bet that this thrilling $4.4 million Tetris Attack advertising and promotional campaign will be causing chain reactions for retailers through the end of the year. In addition to these exciting promotional events, you can bank on a strategic public relations campaign to be a major element of our second half marketing plan.
PR means momentum. Lots of coverage and lots of people talking about Nintendo products. And as we get ready to launch these products for the second half of this year, we're going to make sure that the TV cameras are rolling, that the barrels of ink are flowing, and that the game craze keeps going.
And of course, in-store merchandising is always the crucial final link between Nintendo and our retail customers.
In-store merchandising and interactive displays are the keys to announcing the arrival of new releases, helping consumers get hands-on experience with the hottest games ever. Maintaining space and visual excitement is absolutely vital to keeping sales of Game Boy and Super NES strong this fall.
Any way you look at it, it's going to be one very powerful, very playful second half. Combined, Nintendo's investing over $140 million in the continued success of Game Boy, Super Game Boy, Virtual Boy, and Super NES. $140 million. That's incredible. Sounds like we're taking our fun pretty seriously throughout the entire second half, if you ask me.
What did you guys think? Those were the numbers back in 1996. Guys, there's some key points that you have to see here. When you guys think about older games, you think about talking about them with your friends at school, at work, wherever it was. But it took a lot of money to build that brand awareness, right? Legacy media, including television back in the day, provided the video game companies with an unparalleled opportunity to reach a very broad audience. Not only that, a targeted audience, right? Remember where you saw these advertisements. GamePro magazines, Electronic Gaming Monthly, whatever magazine you read, whatever TV shows you were watching a lot of this. I mean, you can connect with targeted audience, really. I mean, there's a lot of campaigns that you can remember. Remember Mortal Monday. You can remember the Super NES being advertised, right? And what did that do? With so much money being spent, it cultivated hype and excitement for a lot of these brands that we still remember to this day. That's the reason these games are so expensive today. So you're feeling the ramifications of this money spent today, right? By these brands being so strong. And what did it is delivering on what you said you were going to present. The brands that still last today are the brands that establish credibility and trust with you. They showed you an advertising, they showed you a product, and that game was as good as the advertising. And that really was the bulk of it. And what made it so strong is it was a controlled message, right? Something you don't have to deal with today. In today's digital landscape, you have a lot more avenues to advertise, but you're contending with who you're advertising with because their goals might be different than yours, right? A lot of when you want to target audiences now, it's a very few and far between where you can find a place, whether it's a video game magazine, whether it's a TV show, whether it's anything else where they have a separate agenda than yours. It could be that they're just trying to mine the data of your customers, and that's not something you want. That's why you're seeing companies go direct right now. But to wrap it up here, guys, the importance of legacy media and advertising in the 90s can't be overstated, right? They were key to many of the brands that still exist today. And that's why I wanted to take a closer look so you guys can see what it took, right? What it took to make those brands an everyday name and make them successful companies and video game companies and software companies to this day. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Remember, this was based on a script that was a members-only script available to members of the channel and the community page. If you're enjoying this kind of content, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Tell me what you think. Did you think they were spending this kind of money? I thought it was millions, but I didn't think it was this much for some of the games that I was looking at. But hey, what did I know before this article? Give me your thoughts. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you on the next one. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I earned your subscription. Make sure to hit that like button. And if you'd like to, please subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.